Oh, just a little bit longer. Is that okay for singing on stream? Is that okay? You're still muted. Anyways, let's begin the show anyways. What's going on, everybody? We are the Cinefanatics. It is Wednesday night. It is time for the tagline. My name is Robert Adams.
My name is Chris Adams.
What's going on with you, Chris?
So what's funny is you started singing, in which case I would normally tell you to shut the hell up. And I would have done that if everything on my computer didn't disappear the moment you started singing.
It was planned that way.
I think you're doing some kind of shenanigans to my computer, and I don't approve it. I don't approve it.
There you go. Now you should be able to use your computer again. Is it good? Working now? Cool. He's freezing on purpose. That's awesome, y'all. Welcome to our stream, our Wednesday night stream where we talk about...
It's really hard to hold. Oh my God.
Kudos to you for putting in the effort, though. That's commendable.
I try, but man, the smile muscles really want to operate there.
Anyways, real quick, y'all know YouTube things out of the way. Make sure you hit like because we've been live for 2 minutes, even though we should have been live for 12 minutes. Still make sure you hit that like on this video and hit that subscribe button. Y'all have any questions, comments, issues, complaints, please direct all of management inquiries to streamlabs.com/cinefanatics. That is how you can get our attention easily, is right up there. Also, patreon.com/cinefanatics. Hop on the Patreon. If you feel like that we are deserving of some support from you, the viewers, and you financially are able to support us at any level from $1 to $25 per month, feel free to hop on those tiers that are good for you, that works for you and your level of wanting to support us and your wallet. So, yeah, that would be great. Thank you. That was smooth, wasn't it?
Smooth sounds like a discount car salesman. Hop on the tier that gives you the best fuel efficient Prius you can find.
Do you like them reclining seats? Well, we got them over here. How about them power windows? You tired of your window crank? Tori has no idea what this means. Anyways, thank y'all for watching, for being here as we get started. Coming up for Patreon, we do have movie watch-alongs and a movie trivia hangout. We are changing up how the hangout is gonna go. Details on that as we get closer to it. Let me see how are we looking at as far as that calendar goes, though. Oh man, don't drink sparkling water while on stream. Especially if you're prone to gassiness of carbonation. Just
not if you're trying to actually talk and say things.
Yeah, and that's usually my problem because I can't talk and say things without drinking carbonated water.
Slight difference. If you're doing a live stream, say on Twitch or YouTube Gaming or something like that, and your sentence can be interrupted with a brawl, then go for it. But if you're trying to do an actual show, maintain professionalism.
Thank you for vamping for me while I was looking this up. So today is the 12th. We will have, I believe we're going to do probably the trivia hangout will be on Monday the 17th, this coming Monday. Like I said, we're going to try to do something a little bit different with it. We'll see how that works. That will be Monday at, 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern. So yeah, if you're at the $25 level, the Maverick tier on our Patreon, come join us. We are in the Discord on the voice channel, whatever it's called.
Yep,
we will be in there, and it's a nice hangout, having fun, playing some movie trivia. On Monday the 24th, we will be doing a watch along. Here's the thing I was trying to do for this month. Every October, I want this to be a common thing with this channel and with our patrons, is every month or every October, every year, I want to try to watch some kind of a horror movie because it's Halloween theme. It seems appropriate. Of course, as everyone is very well aware of, my brother does not like horror movies. that being said, there are horror movies that I understand his reasonings for not liking horror movies, but there are some that I feel like he could still watch. So that's what I'm trying
Get
to
out.
do. Yeah. Well, yeah, that was one of them.
Yeah.
That was one of the ones you could watch. I want to try potentially doing something like, again, a horror movie that you haven't seen. And so I'm trying to put together a list of horror movies that we could watch on that watch along that would be Chris Adams friendly.
Palatable.
Yeah. I'm kind of wanting to do a poll for it, but at the same time, the only one I've been able to figure out right off the bat that I know he needs to watch.
It's a horror movie that's like a fine wine.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. That's what I'm actually trying to find. I know it's kind of funny, but yeah, that's kind of what I mean. The only other one I could think of off the top of my head that I know that you should see because I absolutely adore it is Psycho. Yeah, the original Psycho, not that 1998 Gus Van Sant bullshit.
I haven't seen Psycho, so that could be on the list. I would also recommend putting The Shining on the list too, because that's another one.
Ooh, The Shining would be good. Yes.
Yerp.
It doesn't look like Psycho is easily streaming. Shining is on HBO Max. So I don't know. We might try to see if we could find like a couple other movies to do a poll. If not, we may just call it right there and just do Shining.
Tori in the chat. She's never seen Psycho either.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing is, like, I would love to do Psycho, but it doesn't look like it has. It doesn't look like it's streaming anywhere for free. It looks like it's on Peacock, but we've already established that with our Peacock subscription. Well, I don't know. I'll have to see. We can create multiple profiles in Peacock, right?
Yeah, I just got to figure out why Peacock wasn't working for me before.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. We'll try that. If we can't get that to work, then we'll probably just call it on The Shining, because that would be good.
There was a 2, 3, and 4. Good God.
Yeah. There's four Psychos. Of course, the other ones are not they're not done by Hitchcock, but they do still star Anthony Perkins. So
fascinating.
Yeah, they're really weird. Anyways, that is what we're looking at coming up this Friday here on this channel. We will be continuing doing our second marquee of the horror season. This Friday, it is going to be 80s like cult horror indie. That is going to be this Friday, the 14th at 7:30 Pacific, 10:30 Eastern. Special guests on that will be Lego and Tori, both weighing in on this. I know Lego is a huge fan of 80s horror, so this is going to be a lot of fun. Tori's a big horror head as well, so horror head. I like that term. Anyways, a lot of good movies. If you are unfamiliar with 80s horror movies, like you can see here, there's going to be a couple we'll be talking about. There's going to be some, I would say, some pretty good recommendations. If you're looking for like a good 80s horror movie that's going to be maybe just a little bit cheesy, a little bit weird, this is going to be a good place to come to get some good recommendations. I want to see people like come in the chat also with like their recommendations. If like you are really passionate about stop at the joke. If you are really passionate about a specific 80s horror movie that's not on this list, I want to see that recommendation because I'm open to them too. So yeah, horror head. Anyways, yeah, that's what we've got coming up again Friday, 7:30 Pacific, 10:30 Eastern. Anyways, what kind of fun things are you up to on your Twitch channel?
Oh, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. We're getting closer and closer to the Pokemon Violet release, and we'll be playing that when it comes out, which is funny because it comes out on a weekend that I'm doing 2 weddings, that I am filming 2 weddings. So I'm not going to necessarily be able to play that immediately, although we might stream that Saturday. We'll see. Sunday, we're going to try to do family game night, I think, this week. So as long as I can get some stuff cleaned off my computer and see if I can get it fixed up, we should be able to do family game night. So if y'all are into Jackbox games, feel free to come by twitch.tv/ChrisAdamsMLP.
Yeah, my YouTube channel's doing pretty well so far. Updated the I was waiting for you to so how's your YouTube channel? Like just pass it back and forth. Yeah, so updated some graphics, got some other stuff worked on as far as being able to play audio while talking. I just need to figure out the volume levels apparently. Otherwise, yeah. I want to what?
Be able to play audio while talking. I want people to be able to hear me while I talk.
Yeah. I mean, that's the point, but I don't want it to be like just my voice out in the ether and nothing else. So, anyways, yeah, I'm looking at ways of trying to figure out how I can add other games to my streams instead of just playing the regular Nintendo games. Because apparently I haven't played those in forever, and so I play them for 5 minutes, die a bunch of times, and then I'm like, yeah, I'm bored with playing this.
I feel like you did like a William Shatner thing there.
What?
You gotta feel like how do I add other games
to
my stream?
Just need to paint the face white and cut out the eye holes bigger. And that's Michael Myers.
There's an NES classic on the wing.
Yeah, something.
Yeah,
I've got the Wii U. I want to plug that in and start playing them. I could do like Mario or Mario Kart on that. That would be kind of fun. Nice. And then, yeah, my main focus is I want to try to figure out some way to play Grand Theft Auto Vice City again, and at least the first 2 Batman Arkham games. I've got it narrowed down that probably the easiest, quickest way would be just to get a PlayStation 4, because all those games are available to play on a PlayStation 4. It's just PlayStation 4s are stupid expensive because they're all on the aftermarket at this point. So,
yep.
So who knows? We'll figure this out at some point. But otherwise, yeah, did that live stream last night. Was a lot of fun. So, yeah, if y'all are interested in that, I don't have like a quick like little address I could belt out like my brother does on twitch.tv/ChrisAdamsMLP. Mine is a long combination of letters and whatnot, and it's down in the description. So if you would like, go down to the description, click that, hit subscribe, and make sure you follow me on social media and stuff, and you'll see when I go live again. Probably YouTube. I'm liking the Tuesday night things because Tuesday's my Friday night, so kind of like late night Tuesday before everyone switches over to go watch Andor. It's kind of fun.
YouTube.com/7.
Anyways, next part. What has everyone watched over this past week? Anyone got some like new movies that they watched that they would recommend? It doesn't have to be like new as in 2012 or 2022, like 10 years behind. But if it's just new to you, what's something that you saw that you really liked that you could recommend? Chris?
I watched 2 Marvel things between last Wednesday and this one. One I liked. One I watched for the second time and have decided that I like even less than the first time I watched it.
Yeah, shouldn't have watched it for a second time.
Whoops.
Whoopsies.
First one was Werewolf by Night. That is on Disney Plus right now. It's not really a movie. It's also not a TV show. It's a special. It's a 50-minute special. It was fantastic. I loved it. It was great. It was a lot of fun. Ted is the best. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to watch Werewolf by Night.
Love Ted.
I want to see more of Ted. I want to see more of all 3 of those main characters. But
I want a Hot Toys figure of Ted.
Absolutely. That'd be great. I want a little plush. Maybe a little Ted plush.
A little Ted.
And I'm not
call it a Teddy.
I'm not talking about the actual Ted from the movies Ted and the little bear. I'm not talking about that.
It's going to be a lot of Seth MacFarlane references on tonight's show.
Yeah. Lego. I live for Ted now. I will find him. I will befriend him. Sounds like a freaking Liam Neeson from Taken. I will find you. I will find you. I will befriend you.
I have a very particular set of skills that make me friendly to people like you. I will find you. I will befriend you. You will be with me for the rest of my life.
We will go get cheeseburgers together.
We will have drinks. We will share a Wendy's Frosty.
We will enjoy each other's company. Okay, this is going on too long.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
Good luck.
I'm not sociable at all. Best of luck to you. Uh,
I don't ever leave this apartment. Literally, I don't ever leave this apartment. I work here.
sure.
Um,
But yeah, I saw Werewolf by Night, and then I rewatched Thor: Love and Thunder. I love Marvel. I really do. I love the stuff they produce. Obviously, Werewolf by Night was great. They do a good job. Honestly, every single Marvel movie up to this point, I would say that I have enjoyed or have found something that I really enjoy about it. This is the first movie that I would legitimately stop it. Stop it. This is the first movie that I would legitimately classify as a complete and utter disappointment. Even though there is good stuff in the movie, and I wish that the movie spent more time on that good stuff, but the movie itself is just not great. It's just not great.
If you took like the comedy that's in this movie and you just moved some of that comedy over to Thor: The Dark World, you would have two like really good Thor movies. Because that's what Thor: The Dark World was missing, was any kind of levity and humor. Like there's a few like small jokes in there.
Yeah.
Like when he takes out the giant rock monster at the beginning, he's like, who's next? But like otherwise, yeah, there was no humor in that.
I like the stuff where Thor is a serious character and we take him seriously as a character, even if he's making jokes that are like he's being funny, but he's being funny in a cocky way. Like I like that. I like that aspect of Thor. I think that's a lot of fun. And I think, he's somebody who deserves to be that. But this goofy Thor that's like kind of ditzy or whatever, kind of like not all those rock monsters are there inside your head, are they? He's a buffoon, and I don't like it. I'm not a fan of that Thor. I'm not a fan of what they've done with him and kind of cartoonized him a little bit more. But it is what it is.
Was that all the new things you saw, basically?
Oh yeah, I really didn't. And Thor wasn't even new. I just really didn't watch a whole lot.
So do I have a list for y'all?
Breeze through it.
I also saw Werewolf by Night. Absolutely loved it. Both a nice mixture of both like a Universal Monsters type of movie, while like hitting a little bit like in a grindhouse type of family. And I know I said this before when like the trailer for it was released. It looked like that even from the trailer. I thought it was a lot of fun. I would love to see that expanded upon. I'm hoping that we see Werewolf by Night in other MCU properties. I want to see Ted again. Maybe Elsa. She didn't really do, I feel like, too much with this. Like,
she needs to come back in Blade.
Yeah, I feel like she was just stuck within the confines of just this story. I want to see her get expanded upon as well. But otherwise, a lot of fun. I thought they did very well with that movie. I do want to see the crossover between Werewolf by Night and Moon Knight, though. So, yeah, because from the comics.
Werewolf by Moon Knight.
Otherwise, the other like new movie I watched which was last night, was Barbarella. In response to a news story that we'll be talking about here in a little bit. That movie was like crazy. It was like just, I don't know. I can't describe it. It's one of those like just silly, cheesy, early Dino De Laurentiis produced movie. And like just, I'll get more into it as we talk about the news in regards to Barbarella. Otherwise, it's been like all horror all day. Watched the new Hellraiser. Enjoyed it. I thought it was probably just about almost as good as the original. I would put it on par with like Hellraiser 2, just horror back movies. And forth. Yeah, here he goes. Just depending on how I'm feeling. Sometimes I would probably feel like Hellraiser 2 was a little bit better. But otherwise, yeah, I thought this remake of Hellraiser, they did a lot of good things. I love how they expanded on the lore. Dived a little bit more into exactly how that puzzle box works. And I don't know why I don't have it sitting up here since we're talking about it, but whatever. Anyways, I thought they did really good with that. Saw Deadstream the other day, which is on Shudder. I just saw a bunch of people on Twitter talking about how good it was, so I watched it. It was pretty good. Nice little like found footage. It was like Blair Witch Project meets Evil Dead is what most people are saying.
What service did you say that was on?
Shudder. Yeah. Anyways, if you have access to Shudder, I do recommend checking out. It's a nice little breezy, like hour and a half. It flies by really quick. It doesn't even feel like that. It actually feels a lot like Werewolf by Night being like 50 minutes. It felt like that, only it's an hour and a half. And then speaking of horror movies and their run times, Terrifier 2.
Nope.
Terrifier 2, I did a review for it. It is live on this channel right now, so I'm not going to dive too much into it because I talked about a lot in that review. Very much enjoyed it. Very long movie, but that's part of it. It could have standed to be a little bit shorter, but I think that was part of the ride. And again, I explain more about that in the review.
The word is stoned. Could have stoned to be a little bit shorter.
It could have stoned to be a little shorter. I feel like the second you say that word, your voice automatically adapts some kind of an accent for somewhere that I'm not sure what country or nationality it comes from. But it could have stoned to be a little bit longer.
Could have stoned, yes.
Could have stoned. Yeah.
It's a real word. Don't look it up.
Just making shit up as we go. Anyways, yeah, I really like Terrifier 2. I don't know if I would say it's my favorite horror movie of the year. I think that Barbarian is still beating it out, but I think it's pretty high up there. So
hard pass on that one for me, by the way.
Oh yeah, Terrifier 2. Yeah, absolutely. There's no way you're watching that ever. No. So some of the movies y'all watched. Tori watched Pearl. I know Tori absolutely loves Pearl. Stephen King's The Storm.
Garth is on it.
Good one, Garth. Garth also watched Real Steel. I need to watch that.
Oh, that's a good one. This is a Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, that's a Hugh Jackman like controlling the giant Rock'em Sock'em robots.
Yeah, it's basically Rock'em Sock'em Robot the movie. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I need to watch that still. That's the thing. Like, I'm planning on watching a movie probably here after we're done with this tonight, and I'm not sure exactly what I want to watch. Maybe another horror movie. I don't know. I do need to watch for the marquee at the end of the month, so I might watch one of those. Let me see. What else did y'all watch? Yeah, Tim Franco saying he loves Barbarella. Garth likes Barbarella. I feel like every single place that right now I've been seeing where someone's talking about Barbarella, Garth's always got to drop in the fun fact.
To make sure people know about Duran Duran.
Their name came from Duran.
Zachary saw... Also, welcome, Zachary. Mm-hmm. Thank you for popping in here. So he saw Sonic 2 and the newest Jurassic World movie. Jurassic World Dominion.
For the last time, she's Dominican.
I'm Dominican. Yeah.
There's our Scrubs reference. So
there you go.
Those of y'all that don't know, we both really like the TV show Scrubs, and we quote it almost daily. Just depends on exactly what we're doing, but
definitely weekly.
Yeah. Anyways. Wednesday nights are good nights for watch-alongs. That would be. Someone needs to do a watch-along on Wednesday nights. I feel the emptiness in my life. Huh. Jurassic World Dominatrix. With that, Garth. Thank you, Garth. With that, let's get into some movie news. As soon as I find the video, there it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. This is what's happening in your world tonight.
We apologize for the interruption.
Back to you.
Back to us.
How's that box office looking there, Chris?
It's looking like a box office. I feel like I say that every time.
Was that supposed to be like it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas, but...
No, just a very nondescript sing-songy way of saying a stupid phrase that I've done before.
Good job. Way to
Thank you.
Change things up and keep it fresh.
You know, you gotta. Otherwise, things get stale. And yeah, speaking of stale bits, can we guess what's number one in the box office this weekend? By the way, this is a 4-day weekend. It was Indigenous Peoples Day. Or I guess for those of y'all who are behind on the times, Columbus Day. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, can we just stop with this whole I'm okay with it switching to Indigenous Peoples Day. That's great, but
we could just not have a holiday too. I don't know. We just do whatever. It's a Monday, but it is on the calendar. It is a 4-day weekend for Indigenous Peoples Day. So can we guess what was number one in the box office?
Smile.
Yeah, it was Sorry,
it's not
I got
fun.
nothing.
I actually already knew this.
Yeah, he already knew it. So yeah, it's Smile. Smile got another $21.1 million in its second week. Pretty good. It beat out pretty much every single thing that it literally beat out every single thing that opened new this week. So not too bad for a horror movie. Though those things sometimes get a solid 1 week opening and then they typically fall down pretty quick. But there's also not a whole lot of competition right now, at least not this last weekend.
Yeah,
there will be this next weekend.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So this weekend.
Yeah, with that being said, Smile does this is a horror movie that's had the best hold on the box office since Get Out. Like no other horror movie's been able to like maintain staying at the top like this
for 2 weeks in a row.
Get Out.
I mean, it's only been out for 2 weeks, so
yeah, that is like say keeping it like at a top position as far as the drop off on how many people were watching it or went to go see it type of thing. We haven't seen a horror movie do this since Get Out, which Smile was all right. I enjoyed Smile. I thought like the last 5 minutes was probably like the prime of that movie, and the biggest like jump scare got spoiled in the trailer, which I hated, but the best jump scare got spoiled in the trailer.
The only time my brother will ever say that he enjoys smiling.
Pretty much, yeah. Otherwise, yeah, I wish Barbarian had a better hold because I think Barbarian was worth having that kind of a response, a return on investment, so to speak.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, kudos to Smile. Again, this is a fantastic year for horror movies. 2022 is going to go down as like one of the best years of horror. Just like here at the Cinefanatics, we commonly will refer to as 1994 as the best year of movies pretty much ever.
One of the best years in our opinion.
Yeah.
There's benefit of the doubt. There's room for margin of error. That's what I'm looking for.
It was one of the best years, least in our lifetime.
Yes, there you go. Number 2 in the box office this weekend, new release, Lyle Crocodile. It's a little family romp. Made about 13.2 million, so not too bad for an opening little family movie. Number 3, Amsterdam. That movie did not rank that high in its opening. Whoops. Oh well. Made about 7.2 million right there. By the way, the title, I don't know if you heard me. The title there's Amsterdam. I was just playing with it. Yeah,
got it. That was that one that's directed by prolific Irish director David O. Russell.
Yes.
Whatever accent I'm doing.
Who's in some hot water. Number 4 is The Woman King. Number 5, Don't Worry, Darling. Number 6 is that swell Avatar re-release. Number 7, Barbarian. Number 8, Bros. Number 9, still in the box office and back up from number 10 from last week, Top Gun Maverick. Still hanging in there.
Barely.
That's right. Top Gun Maverick hanging. 6 more weeks, guys. If Top Gun Maverick, if Tom Cruise sees his shadow, we get 6 more weeks of Top Gun Maverick in the top 10. I'm just saying. Top Gun Maverick in the top 10 for 6 more weeks is half a year in the top 10 for that movie, and that would be insane. But lo and behold, my prediction, not going to happen. We've got Black Adam coming out. We've got Wakanda Forever around the corner. Top Gun Maverick's not going to stay in the top 10. It's going to get bumped out.
This week we've got Halloween Ends. So that may climb in there. The only problem is it's also being released day and date on Peacock, so that might hurt box office performance if people are just going to stay at home and watch it.
True. So we got that. And then at number 10, amazingly, Terrifier 2 made it into the top 10. Just barely squeaked under Top Gun Maverick. I looked at the 3-day weekend numbers, and literally Top Gun Maverick only made like $240 more than Terrifier 2 for the 3-day weekend. Not the 4-day. It made more money on Monday, but the 3-day it only made like $200 more, which is crazy.
So the thing to keep in mind with Terrifier 2 is it's not actually a wide release. It's not playing in that many theaters. Like, there's only a small handful of theaters here in Austin that it's playing in. Luckily, one of those theaters happened to be right down the street from us, so I was able to go see it. But
yeah, it's according to this, it's only in 770 theaters.
Yeah.
It's opening.
Compared to like when a Marvel movie gets released, it's typically in twice as many theaters at least.
Yeah.
When it like wide released.
Let's see. Falling out of the top 10 is Bullet Train. Apparently Minions and DC League of Super Pets have been already out of the top 10, so those animated movies falling out. But there you go.
Nice. Anyways, so that has been our box office.
That has been the box office.
Cool. Anyways, what else we got?
So, this is typically the part where we move on to some other movie news and stuff. But before we do that, in your Barbie Watch news today, it's been quiet. It's been too quiet. There's literally no news. There's literally no news for Barbie.
I love the comments now.
I'm ecstatic that you guys were excited for this, but the only news stories I could find were from last week and the week before that and a month ago.
Yeah.
It's still it's still happening. The movie's still happening. It hasn't been canceled, which I think is good news for everybody. In the year of our Lord 2023, we will still be receiving a Barbie movie starring Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling.
That's good news.
That's good news.
Anyways, moving on to other movie news. Do you know that they're going to make a movie of the Oregon Trail? That's right. Your old classic 80s geography, history, learning what dysentery means game is coming to the big screen.
80s?
Yeah, I mean, that's when I first played it.
I thought it was like early 90s.
No, it was back in the 80s. Oh, actually, Oregon Trail was first released in 1974, so even I'm wrong on that. Ooh. Yeah, that's an old ass game right there. But
Garth played the Oregon Trail when he was actually traveling the Oregon Trail.
That's not funny. That is kind of funny. Anyways, yeah, so that is coming out to potentially be a movie. Here's what's going to be interesting about this is it's being turned into a musical. So stay tuned for that top 10 hint. I have dysentery.
But the problem is that they're gonna make a dysentery reference in the movie somewhere because that's the joke from the game.
Yeah, there's
like,
actually T-shirts that you could go buy that all it says on is like I have died of dysentery.
Oh my god! Is this like gonna be like Oklahoma? We're finally crossing into that state.
Not quite. Like this one is actually being it's actually being helmed by Pasek and Paul. Which, if those names sound familiar to you, may know them because they currently are the ones in charge of the number 2 movie in the box office, Lyle Lyle Crocodile. Also, they are very well known for their work on the music of La La Land and The Greatest Showman.
Interesting.
And they also did something called Dear Evan Hansen, I believe. So,
yeah, we don't talk about that one.
Yeah. Anyways, I mean, here's the thing. I really love like Greatest Showman. I love the music from Greatest Showman. La La Land has some really good music too.
Absolutely it does.
We know I'm not a huge fan of La La Land. My brother absolutely adores it, but I will respect that the music on it is really good. Yeah. I mean, when we went to the observatory in LA, the whole time I'm there, I'm sitting like City of Stars. I don't know the rest of the words, but yeah. I mean, you can't help but like the music that they make. I haven't heard any of the music from Lyle Lyle Crocodile, but I believe it's probably going to be pretty good since what's his face's voice in the Crocodile.
Charlie Puth?
No.
Oh, it's not Charlie Puth. Who's the other?
It's not Charlie Puth. Which is funny because he's been like all over the late night shows. You would think that he had something to do with it.
No, it's the other guy who's like Charlie Puth.
Yeah. Oh, I'm blanking on his name.
It's okay. We don't need to know it. It's not relevant to us.
I'm like looking up who sings Lyle Lyle Crocodile. It's like, oh, that would be. Do you mean Lyle Lovett? No, I mean Shawn Mendes. That's
Shawn Mendes
Yeah.
and Charlie Puth are the same person to me.
Damn near.
I'm waiting for someone in the chat to be like, "How dare!" But you know what? Deal with it.
I mean, I don't think anyone's going to be able to how dare. I mean, they literally are almost the same person. It's really comes down to a matter of which one was the one that did the song from Fast and the Furious. Okay. Anyways, yeah, that's going to be interesting. Like, one, it's going to be a musical. They're Lego. They're different people. This one's going to be interesting though, because from what I've read, they're still not like completely on board with, do they want to make this family friendly, or do you want to go and push like a hard R-rated Oregon Trail?
What do you do with a hard R Oregon Trail?
You watch the person die of dysentery.
Oh, talk about a triangle of sadness.
Well, other direction. Other end.
Oh.
Anyways, so well, I mean, if you've seen Terrifier 2, you're probably okay with things like that anyway. So anyways, beside the point. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't think an R-rated Oregon Trail musical is going to work. That just sounds that something about that, just saying those words doesn't sound right to me.
I know what doesn't sound right. It's because you said Oregon.
Oregon, yeah.
Or Oregano Trail.
The Oregano Trail. Yeah.
No, make it PG-13.
I don't even know if you. Well, maybe. Yeah.
You don't need to make it PG. Make it PG-13. Have some fun with it. Let them say some words here and there. Talk about have some thematic material. A little bit. Grizzly bear attack. Maybe someone loses an arm off screen, but implied.
Very likely going to happen.
There's a killer clown in one of the wagons.
Not what I meant, Garth.
Perfect.
I do want that figure though, like this 1/6 scale Art the Clown. Oh, that thing's gorgeous. I want that so bad.
I refuse that being in my apartment.
I'm gonna have to hide it.
That would defeat the purpose.
It kind of would, yeah. Like, why is it sitting on next to you while we're streaming? I don't know. I don't actually own it, so don't know how it got there.
Just found its way inside.
And then you come walk over to my room and it's mysteriously gone all of a sudden. It's really creepy, actually. Moving on, let's talk about this Barbarella thing.
Barbarella.
That's not how that goes. So it was announced that Sydney Sweeney is going to be starring in a remake of Barbarella. Here's the thing with this. I just watched Barbarella, so I know what Barbarella is. I don't think I've seen anything with Sydney Sweeney in it. I don't recall.
You have not watched Euphoria.
Because I haven't watched, primarily because I haven't watched Euphoria. You have watched Euphoria.
Yep.
And so it's kind of weird because I know what Barbarella is, but you know what Sydney Sweeney is capable of doing.
Yep.
When describing what Barbarella is about, you're all like, yeah, that makes sense.
It makes sense that Sydney Sweeney's going to do that because I've seen Euphoria.
Yep. Here's the thing. Before watching Barbarella, I thought it was just going to be like Red Sonja, but in an outer space. It was just going to be a funny, zany romp. And then I turn it on, and within like the first 10 minutes, Jane Fonda's like naked, probably like 95% of that time. And it was like, it was weird because it she didn't need to be naked. Like, I think it was one of those movies that was like a early sexploitation. It was done for funsies, but it was also done in a like exploitive but respectable way. It's kind of weird. Yeah, I can't really describe it very well. I want to say this movie I felt like was very like female empowering for Jane Fonda. Her character was a very strong character, and I'm tossing aside for a minute the silliness of this movie. This movie is like beyond silly. Yeah, Red Sonja is not fun and zany, and that's the thing. Like, I didn't know that this movie was going to be as fun and zany as it was. But yeah, like, sorry, you're telling me there's a movie where Jane Fonda is nude? What's the name of this again? For science, that would be Barbarella. And yeah, it's really funny. There's a couple of scenes in this, or one in particular, that was very reminiscent of Demolition Man, where Sylvester Stallone and Sandra Bullock go to have sex, and the conversation they have about what sex looks like in the future. It's very similar to that, and it was hilarious. Like, I love how they handled it. I also like that almost every guy that Barbarella runs into in this movie just wants to have sex with her. So it was pretty funny. But yeah, like I like her portrayal of this character because it was like a pretty strong character for her. This I could easily see like Barbarella with the sexy nude stuff aside. The character that she portrays and how she portrays it, I could see as an early precursor for like Ripley from Aliens. So like that kind of a strong, empowered female, except this movie's just really crazy and a lot of fun. So yeah, I recommend it just if you want something silly to watch. But yeah. So Sydney Sweeney doing this, I think that could be a really good fit.
Sydney Sweeney is one of a few actors from Euphoria who I think career is actually going to take off. Her obviously Zendaya's career is already taking off, so you know that's without question. But I think like she kind of feels like the next one after Zendaya, whose career should, you know, skyrocket from being in Euphoria. She does a fantastic job in the show, and I think her being able to, you know, take on these projects, even to the fact that she's like producing this too. So she's kind of got a hand in like making sure that this movie is going to happen and everything. I think that's awesome. I think that's great for her. I know we also have like set picks and stuff from Madam Web. You know, the next Sony Spider-Man movie that nobody cares about are currently making their way to the internet, and we're seeing images of her character in that movie as well. Which hopefully that doesn't hurt her career any, because we know how those morbid time Sony movies are.
Well, but kind of like what I said, what I've said with Morbius. The problems with Morbius, I don't feel like we're on Jared Leto or his makeup. Jared Leto was like perfectly casted as Michael Morbius, and the makeup on him, the effects, I thought were actually pretty decent. It's just the story was just god awful. Anyways, yeah. I'm looking forward to this. Like, I want to see some images. I expect what I really want to see. My hopes for this is that she has the same amount of costume changes that Jane Fonda had in the original, which means she's going to be wearing a new outfit every like 3 minutes, because that would be funny. Probably. The whole movie is basically let's get her out of her clothes and put her into new clothes. That's the whole throughout the whole movie. I was like, well, this is her like 20th costume change in the past like 30 minutes.
The entire budget for that movie was in the costume department.
Damn near, because you could definitely tell as far as the sets and everything, there was a little skipping being done there. Even so far as like one of the key items that they have to collect is the invisible key, which is treated. Here you go. Here's the key. Take it.
Now they saved a lot in the props because it's invisible.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's an invisible key that opens an invisible door.
Aha! Don't have to spend money on a door either. Brilliant.
Get her another costume.
Get her another outfit.
We just saved a butt ton on this. Anyways, so this will be interesting, but I'm eager to see like how true to the original are they going to keep that zaniness of it. I would really like it if they filmed it the same exact way, which is obviously filmed like on stage sets, and we just move from one stage to another. I would love it if they kept it like that because it was pretty funny at some points.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving on, let's jump into a new segment here. We got a new segment on this channel, and this is going to be a lot of fun.
New segment in the news? What?
A new news segment, yeah. Everybody grab your mustaches, let's go.
You may not have the looks, you may not have the dash, but you'll win yourself a girl if you've only got a mustache, a mustache, a mustache, if you've only got a mustache.
Welcome to Mustache News, where we're going to talk about all the movies, ins and outs regarding mustaches. So, in Mustache News today, Kenneth Branagh is returning as the character of Hercule Poirot in another Agatha Christie movie. This one is A Haunting in Venice. It's going to be interesting because, well, I would say like Murder on the Orient Express was pretty good. If you didn't know the story already, I feel like it was fairly enjoyable, entertaining. A lot of fun when you find out who the killer is. And then there was Death on the Nile, which I also actually enjoyed. And I definitely think this is one of those types of movies like Knives Out. The real focal center point is the investigator, Hercule Poirot, or what's
Benoit Blanc.
Benoit Blanc. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I can never get the names right on him. But yeah, like they're the focal point, and they really do hold these movies together. A Haunting in Venice has also signed on another like giant cast of people. This one's going to include Tina Fey, Jamie Dornan, Michelle Yeoh.
I like it so far.
And then a whole bunch of people I have no idea who they are. Kyle Allen, Camille Cotton, Jude Hill, Ollie Kahn, Emma Laird, Kelly Riley, and Ricardo Scamarico. Had to sound that one out a bit.
Definitely probably not the accurate way of saying that individual's name.
Probably. It would look like that's how it sounded out, though.
Sorry, Tina Fey? Tina Fey is her name?
Lego's in here with the clutch. It's pronounced Foghorn Leghorn. I say, boy.
I say. Lego's right there. I say.
So, anyways, this is gonna be good. Like, I'm eager for another Hercule Poirot movie. Hercule Poirot. Like,
Yes,
I've enjoyed him so far.
Murder on the Orient Express I thought was boring. I probably need to watch it again, honestly, even though at this point I know the mystery of it all, so I don't even know if it would be as interesting the second time for me. But it was the best nap I've gotten in a theater, to be honest. And yeah, it sounds mean and rude, but I will say, despite some of the cast members of Death on the Nile, I actually really enjoyed that movie a lot more. I thought Death on the Nile was a lot of fun, and they handled it pretty well, up to the point where I had no idea what direction it was going to go until it went that direction. And until I finally guessed. And then I was actually still happy to know which direction it went. I was happy that I predicted the ending by the time I predicted it. I liked it. Look, I liked the movie. Okay.
I don't even remember the ending of it. So,
ooh. If you never remember who it is, then you can always
watch it again.
Another watch.
Yeah. That would be nice. Like, if we could go back and watch some of these movies without knowing, like, the surprise ending. Like, you know how much fun it would be to go back and watch Sixth Sense again if you don't remember the ending? Or Usual Suspects?
What?
Usual Suspects would be a bomb to watch again. I would love to watch that for, like, the first time again.
That's like one of those situations if somebody invented a way to remove a movie from your memory.
Like, was it the Eternal Sunshine, a movie out of your head?
Eternal Sunshine, a movie out of your head. You can either choose to remove one so that you can experience it again for the first time, or remove one so that you just don't ever think about that movie again.
Morbius, please. Can we just get Morbius out of there? Although, since I'm a comic book fan, if you were to remove Morbius out of my head, eventually at one point, I'd be like, they made a movie of Morbius and I haven't seen it yet? Well, I need to watch this. And then I'm like, God damn it, why did I do this again?
I would rather keep Morbius in the head and remove Usual Suspects to watch it for the first time again.
Yeah, I think that would probably be the safe bet.
That's a good trade-off. Anyway.
Lego says take Dark Shadows away. Yeah. Anyways, moving on, in other mustache news, we got the first trailer for the Super Mario Brothers movie this past Thursday.
Yahoo!
And the internet is very, very like unbalanced on how they feel about Chris Pratt's Mario voice.
Yeah.
I know, like, in the reaction, both of us were like, well, that's not actually that bad. It sounds like Chris Pratt, but I feel it weirdly fits how Mario looks.
The way I describe it is it sounds like Star-Lord is doing a Rocket Raccoon impression.
Kind of.
Mushroom Kingdom, here we come.
And I don't... it's kind of hard to place all judgment off of, like, what, the 2 sentences he said in the trailer.
Yeah.
2 or 3 short sentences as well. I'm wondering, like, when you actually go to watch the movie, is that going to be more and more like nails on a chalkboard sounding while you're watching the movie? After you're like 30 minutes in, you're like, I'm really tired of hearing Chris Pratt's Mario.
So here's the thing, and let me go on a little spiel here. I think it's actually going to work out better in the long run. I think people need to sit back and relax for a minute because there's a couple things that we don't know. One, in the world of the movie, where is Mario coming from? Because if he's hailing from, say, a Brooklyn or a Brooklyn-like place, like New Donk City from the Super Mario Odyssey games, where, that accent could be something that is prevalent there, then it makes sense for him to actually sound that way as opposed to full-on stereotypical Italian accent. It would make sense if he's coming from if they're hailing from that region, in which case, all good to go. Chris Pratt was doing a Brooklyn-esque accent with Mario, and we didn't hear enough of it yet, so it could be a little bit thicker than what we've heard in the long span of the movie. 2, I don't think it's actually going to be grating. What I think would be grating would be an hour and a half to 2 hours of the regular Mario voice. It's me, Mario, yoo-hoo! Like that for almost 2 hours would be too much. That's not to say that Charles Martinet, the person who voices Mario in the video games and has done so for 30 years, isn't fantastic at doing the voice of that character. That works perfectly for video games.
In the little sentences that we hear Mario say.
In small sound bites in video games, works perfectly. And, maybe they could have gotten him for the movie and told him to dial it back a little bit. And, maybe it could work better. But at the same time, you got to understand the business side of things. There is something to grabbing names. We want to see like voice actors specifically get more work and get work in big movies like this. But there is something to grabbing a name to bring eyes to a property, which one might say a little weird. I think Mario would be the name that would bring eyes to a Mario movie. But as it turns out, sometimes you do have to get those big known celebrities in order to do the voices now and then. Notating, of course, that Charles Martinet is still in the movie. He's doing, a cameo appearance or 2 here and there. I don't know if he's voicing multiple characters, just one, or if that character is going to be, throughout the whole movie, what have you. I kind of have some guesses and some theories on that, actually.
So kind of going back to what we were saying as far as, like, we've only heard him in short spurts. We haven't heard him go order a cup of coffee at Starbucks or ask Siri for directions or something. Like, in those situations, we've only heard his voice doing the "Let's go, woohoo! It's me, Mario." Like, that's all we've heard.
What's the name we put on the order? It's me, Mario. How do you spell that?
French vanilla latte for "It's me, Mario." Is there a "It's me, Mario" here? It's me, Mario.
I would like a venti mocha chocolate. Heavy whip.
That's where you need to like splice it with that scene from was it Hall Pass with Paul Rudd insulting the barista, like, congratulations, you're stupid in 3 different languages. Is that Hall Pass?
Models.
Role models.
Yeah.
You're an idiot in 3 different languages. I love that clip. That would be funny.
Offensive to me as an Italian.
But yeah, like, we haven't heard him do that, and I suspect that you're absolutely correct. That if we, after like even maybe 10 minutes of hearing his Mario voice just talking like normally, we would all probably just be like, no, enough.
That's the thing too. Again, it's a voice that's, 1, a giant Italian stereotype, and 2, it's very cartoonish. And it might work for the kids, but if you're a parent taking your kid to the Mario movie and you have to sit through almost 2 hours of "Yay, let's go" and all that, you're gonna want to slam your head through a wall. I'm sorry, it's just not. That just can't work for dialogue for that long of a movie.
And so we've got Nikki here in the chat. Welcome, Nikki. Maybe they're not trying to offend the Italians. There's also that too. Because I mean, even the fact, like, we're sitting here mocking Mario's voice, which I mean is a cartoonish version of like a Italian stereotype, so we should probably stop doing it. But I mean, we're just imitating a cartoon here. But like, I understand that, again, you probably don't want to do that for a while, especially if you're not going to go with the voice of the actual character and go with Chris Pratt. Because getting Chris Pratt to do that, it would probably push a little on like, you're just doing a stereotypical Italian accent, and
I can't hear Chris Pratt trying to do that either.
No,
it makes more sense for him to try to do the like a New York or Brooklyn accent.
It makes sense for like Charles Martinet to do that, but
he's doing a cartoon voice.
1, it's a cartoon voice, and 2, again, he's only saying like these short, small sentences. So I mean, we hear those sentences and we think of Mario more than we think of someone's trying to imitate an Italian accent. Nikki says, I asked all the Italians, they said they don't care. Well, that's good. It's always good to do the legwork when checking on stuff like that.
I'm glad. I'm really glad about that. It's good to hear.
But yeah, I believe, I feel like we're going to be like in a toss-up of it. Like, for a while, I feel like, I don't know how well this is going to work. I need to hear more sentences. But on the opposite end, Jack Black was absolutely fantastic. There's only one person who could have done that Bowser voice better, and that was Tori. Hardy.
No, Jack Black, that was one I was nervous about too. I was like, how's Jack Black? Because I heard Jack Black does a kind of voice. That was my Jack Black impression. Everybody. I hope y'all witnessed greatness just now. That's my Jack Black right there. It's good stuff. I know. But yeah, I was worried about like, how's that voice going to translate to the big Bowser, who like we've only really heard talk in a select few Mario games. Most of the time, he's just growling and roaring and whatnot, or has just words on the bottom of the screen. Like for most video games, when they don't really want to hire true voice actors, they'll just put the words at the bottom of the screen and have the characters grunt and make weird noises. So, Jack Black impersonator. I am singing at the party. I am at the party. It is my turn to sing.
Chris Adams now available for all your Tenacious D cover bands. If you are needing a Jack Black for your Tenacious D cover band, he's available.
Side note, Nacho Libre, worth a watch. Just saying.
It's also a movie I haven't
worth a watch.
Actually watched all the way through.
We should do that as a watch along, and you can just bear with it.
Yeah. Anyways, so that's sort of it for the mustache news for tonight. With the exception that we're going to move on to this next news story. Speaking of Superman with the mustache, Dwayne Johnson was in an interview today, and I chose this story, one, because we're still kind of like joking about Superman and his mustache issues from Justice League. So
in both mustache news and DC news.
Therefore, easing your transition into this next part of the show for tonight, well, we talk about DC news, and I don't have any funny cutaway for that. So I will be making one probably at some point, but Dwayne Johnson talking about Superman being sidelined. This was an interesting quote. Where was it? He said, I've listened to the fans. It's like, we created Black Adam for him to be the most powerful and unstoppable force on this planet. The most powerful and unstoppable force in the entire universe has been on the sidelines for too long. Obviously talking about Superman. And of course, like, the fans, I guess, are wanting to see the Superman versus Black Adam, even though, like, Black Adam's not really like a major Superman villain or enemy. So
I want him to ironically be talking about Darkseid.
Yeah, I mean, that would be fun too, but
we're bringing Darkseid back. That's what you all wanted, right? No, we want Superman.
Yeah, so does that mean that we're going to potentially get Superman and Black Adam? I know this has been like off and on whether or not this is actually going to happen. But haven't heard anything yet, but I don't know. Like, I feel less likely that that's going to happen, while like everyone was pretty Marvel. While everyone was pretty much on board with the idea that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield were going to be in No Way Home.
Yeah.
Or that Charlie Cox was going to be in No Way Home. We all pretty much knew that was absolutely 100% going to happen. I feel less confident about Superman popping up in Black Adam.
We don't know about this because you'd think right now the way that WB as a company has been going with a lot of their announcements and everything, they probably would have just blasted out there, hey, we got Superman back. Would y'all love us, please? Superman's back. They would have just spilled their guts on that automatically, much to everyone's chagrin, because that is something that you would want to keep a secret.
Or we would have seen Dwayne Johnson hanging out with Henry Cavill while a tour tram was going by, and they're like, well, I guess the cat's out of the bag. No, it's not out of the bag. Just don't talk about it.
Oh, like Jason Momoa hanging out with Ben Affleck?
Yeah, like,
what?
You didn't have to make an announcement. Like, it's just that one little tram saw them. You could have still kept this silent. 20 people saw the two of them hanging out. Well, I guess it's released to the world now. Everyone's gonna know. No. 20 people who are not a verifiable source have all seen the two of y'all hang out. So yeah, I'm wondering
why do I want this to happen? Why do I want it to be this?
Because Tom Welling was easily one of the best Supermen we have ever gotten, without him actually being Superman-ish.
He had the character portrayal down right.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like that, and that's what's side note, real quick. Soapbox. That's the sad thing about DC is, like, all their best portrayals have all been in Smallville. The best, like, one of the best Superman, like, not saying that Tom Welling is the best, that's still Christopher Reeve easily. But one of the best Superman portrayals ever was Tom Welling in Smallville. The best live action Lex Luthor was Michael Rosenbaum in Smallville. Easily, 100%, without question.
I still prefer, and I know this is sacrilegious for some people, but I do actually prefer Erica Durance as Lois Lane to Margot Kidder. I know. I'm sorry. I deal with it.
I can see that. I feel like that's okay. Like, Margot Kidder was really good. Erica Durance had that same vibe as Margot Kidder.
She just had a little bit more. She had a little bit more as Lois for me than Margot Kidder did, but also, I understand, there's a lot of people out there who grew up with the older Superman movies with Margot Kidder as Lois Lane, and so it's gonna burn their eardrums for me to say that, and that's fine.
Yeah. Really like the character portrayals in Smallville, but yeah, Superman being in Black Adam,
we'll find out
if I see it happening.
He makes the tease. Is he teasing a post-credit scene? Maybe. We'll find out, I guess. But at the very least, it's him doing it right now, right before the movie comes out, there's a whole lot of, hey guys, come see the movie, huh? You'll find out.
If nothing else, what I'm on board for out of all this is a lot of people saying that this I see Dean Cain when I hear Superman.
I don't know about that one anymore.
Yeah, I don't know about that either. He's kind of shot himself in the foot on on being in any kind of talk of like, yeah, this is a good person.
That's it. Terry Hatcher wasn't a bad Lois either.
No. Hers was very like reactive to Dean Cain, though. Yeah, I felt like, but again, I was like a little bit younger, and I haven't gone back to watch the new adventure or Lois and Clark, the new adventures of Superman since then. I think the only thing I went back and watched was the Howie Mandel, Mr. Mixia Spitlit Christmas episode, but that was about it. Anyways, so I'm kind of on board with this rumor that a lot of people are saying that Dwayne Johnson is going to single-handedly revamp the entire DCEU, and like the direction that it needs to go in, he's going to help steer that ship back into the proper direction.
Sure.
Oh no, I don't want to hold my breath. Never mind.
Dwayne Johnson is the rock the DC universe will be built upon.
Yeah, nice. I don't know if I see that happening, but one thing, other piece of news that helps is Patty Jenkins did talk about Wonder Woman 3, saying that the script is complete.
Interesting.
That she does have a completed script for Wonder Woman 3, and it should start production pretty soon. Don't know anything else about this. Like, I don't even know. I'm going to guess that Gal Gadot was just signed to do a 3-picture deal.
Yeah. So, side note, real quick to all of this. This has me really nervous about what they're actually planning on doing with the cohesive universe that is the DC cinematic universe. Because as of right now, we've all assumed that, or we're all starting to assume that the Flash movie coming up was going to blow everything up and kind of redo everything. That's not gonna happen if Wonder Woman 3 is still happening. Now, granted, yeah, they could do a Wonder Woman 3 under a new continuity of Wonder Woman post Flashpoint, whatever they want to do with that. But I feel like everything's still kind of disjointed. I think that they really want to stick with the continuity they already have for the DC universe as much as possible. I just don't know. Like, at the very least, I'm guessing that the Flash movie is going to blow up the Flash character and we're going to have a completely new Flash afterwards. Maybe that's all that's going to happen with it. But I kind of expected that, Wonder Woman 3 was probably going to be held off for a little bit, and any kind of new movie post like Aquaman 2, anything dealing with like the older characters would be held off for a little bit, which also is why I'm kind of surprised that Dwayne Johnson's talking about Superman and stuff right now also, because I was like, what about Flash and all that first? Sure, why not? His time as Star-Lord is coming to a close here pretty soon, right?
Yeah.
Got to get another superhero role.
I will say, so the thing with Patty Jenkins doing Wonder Woman 3, saying the script's complete, production should be starting. Here's the issue I have with this. And this is one of the things I find as like, I feel like it might be a small nitpick about how DC does their movies, but I feel like it also makes sense in the larger sense when compared to Marvel. Yes, that's what we do. Marvel and DC, the two biggest comic book companies, you do compare them.
Dare you? We can love both.
You can, but here's the point on this. When Marvel makes a movie, especially like in like a series type of thing, say like the 3 Iron Man movies. Well, it's going to be kind of hard to compare just because Jon Favreau didn't do the 3rd Iron Man movie. But when you have a movie series where it is the same director doing all the movies in that series, say if he did direct Iron Man 3, you don't typically hear James Gunn. Yeah, James Gunn would be a good one.
I was saying John Watts because we've already gotten 3 Spider-Man movies.
Spider-Man. Okay, yeah. You don't typically, at least with Marvel, and this just may be the way Marvel's doing it, and it's how I'm used to it, you don't typically hear the director of the movie speaking out publicly about that project. For example, if Wonder Woman was a part of Marvel in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you probably wouldn't necessarily hear Patty Jenkins saying the script's complete. You would hear Kevin Feige say that the script is complete.
True.
Mainly because they're holding to the fact that Kevin Feige is the head of Marvel and steering that ship.
Mm-hmm.
So that, and that's what I'm kind of like what you were saying with in regards to Black Adam. Like, how is Black Adam going to steer the ship, right the ship for the DC universe when you've got Patty Jenkins over here saying that she's done with the script is written? Well, who was the person who's overseeing both Black Adam and Wonder Woman 3 to make sure that all these stories are still in line with where they're trying to take the franchise, the entire DC franchise?
That
They
person
don't have
doesn't
one.
exist.
And that's the red flag that I'm seeing in this. Sure, if we were just doing Wonder Woman movies, much like Christopher Nolan did with the Batman movies, then absolutely 100% that wouldn't be out of the norm for a director to say, "Yep, I've got the next one ready to ship down the pipeline. The script is done. We're about to start production. Cool," and that would be perfectly fine. But when you're trying to cater to an entire cinematic universe like Marvel does, there should be the one focal head, Feige, basically making those announcements and moving the pieces. We don't have that with DC, so therefore I don't believe your Black Adam movie, for the most part, is going to cohesively merge with the Wonder Woman movie.
So what you're saying is right now, like, DC's all over the place because there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen trying to do different things. Meanwhile, Feige's over here at Marvel looking at them and saying,
Whoa, take it easy, sweetheart.
see,
Yeah,
that works really well because Feige was actually talking to Batman there.
Basically, yeah. So, I mean, I feel like that is probably like the number one issue with DC when compared to Marvel right now, is that one focal point that's just not there.
Also, we need to note that while we're talking about DC right now, and we're definitely about to go into, 3 news stories about freaking Marvel. Welcome to movie news, y'all. These things dominate the conversation. We try to pepper in as much else as possible, but hey, can
we go back and talk about Oregon Trail again? Oregon,
or Oregano Trail.
The Oregano Trail. Let's talk about that some more.
I heard Superman was going to be in Oregon Trail.
That's great. Yeah, and that's the thing. Unfortunately, the state of both movies right now and doing movie content on YouTube, you have to go with what is popular. Now, luckily, we're fans of the comic books as well. So, I mean, we're capable of speaking about comic book movies, primarily DC, Marvel, and if Todd McFarlane ever does a stupid Spawn movie at some point, I can talk about that also. But I mean, that's the bread and butter for content right now. I mean, look how many people, when that first Black Panther trailer dropped, look how many people went running to watching the trailer, filming in the reaction, and watching the reaction. That was one of our better performing trailer reactions on our channel for a while. And granted, you might say that's because we don't react to every single trailer that drops. Sure, fine. But out of the ones that we have done, that has been one of the better performing ones. That being said, segueing into Marvel news, speaking of Black Panther, Lupita Nyong'o and Denai Guerrero were interviewed and were saying, like, we hear the fans. We hear y'all trying to figure stuff out of what's going to happen in that Black Panther Wakanda Forever movie, especially who you think the Black Panther is in this movie. And the fans haven't quite guessed it yet. By now, I feel like it's all over both like that last trailer we just got and marketing material, and the toys are very heavily leaning towards Shuri being Black Panther.
Which, if you know anything about the Black Panther comic books, you would automatically assume it's Shuri anyway, because she does take up the mantle of Black Panther at some point down the line anyway. And we were kind of expecting that to happen in the future, maybe not so quickly, because we weren't expecting the role of Black Panther to be vacated this early, unfortunately. But we were expecting that storyline to essentially happen at some point. So it makes sense that they're pushing forward with Shuri being the Black Panther. That's generally what the consensus that most people feel at this point. But for them to say this, that, the fans haven't quite guessed it yet, makes me think that there's a little bit more going on than just Shuri being a Black Panther.
So it makes it sound like there are going to be the multiple Black Panthers. So we'll see Nakia suit up. We may see M'Baku suit up. We could see Queen Ramonda suit up. I don't know. That's
the thing. That's the thing, is everybody who's like putting out a guess out there is usually saying, oh, this person's Black Panther, that person's Black Panther, maybe that person's Black Panther. But what you don't really see as a prevalent theory online right now, at least I definitely haven't, is that Black Panther is growing beyond just a singular symbol of an individual, but rather a symbol that is worn by multiple people. Because in the trailers, you hear Ramonda saying that, we hear what you're saying, that we've lost our protector and now's the time to strike. She's implying that there's more to protecting Wakanda beyond just the singular Black Panther. Plus, the movie's called Wakanda Forever. Granted, it's Black Panther Wakanda Forever. But the movie title being Wakanda Forever implies that this is about more. This is about Wakanda as a whole. So what I get from that is that, yes, we're going to be seeing maybe Shuri as the lead Black Panther, as the head of the Black Panthers, but there's going to be more Black Panthers. It's going to be Nakia. You're going to have Okoye. I wouldn't be surprised if the entire Dora Milaje have some form of a Black Panther outfit, and it becomes a whole army of Black Panther. So yeah, that's my prediction. If they're going to say we haven't guessed it yet, then I feel like I just did.
Yeah. So
Garth, sorry about your Black Panther party.
Yeah. Great. So in other Marvel news, Blade got delayed. Big surprise. So yeah, the director dropped out, which, I mean, that in just itself, I believe Blade was meant to start production like in the next month. Yeah. And the director dropped out a couple of weeks ago or so. I remember we talked about this before. But on top of that, I remember at that point when we were talking about that, there was also the rumor that like the script wasn't that tight. Like Mahershala Ali didn't like how the story of it, and he wanted to do rewrites himself. But that was just like primarily rumor. Now it's starting to sound like that actually was what's happening, because they are talking about having to go through and do rewrites on the script to tighten up the story a bit and get on top of getting another director in. So that's what's pushing back the production on that. But apparently pushing back production on Blade, and I didn't know Blade was going to be such a center point of the entire MCU. Go figure. Apparently pushing that back is also delaying a lot of other MCU properties. Specifically in general is Deadpool 3, which is funny because they just announced their release date in that video announcing that Wolverine was going to be a part of it, or Hugh Jackman was going to come back as Wolverine. Yeah. So it's delaying Deadpool 3 as well. And then on top of that, we also are being told that Avengers Secret Wars has been pushed back to 2026. Which originally, and I guess I didn't know this. And it's kind of, now that I'm hearing it, it sounds kind of weird and it makes sense it's being pushed back. But apparently, like Avengers, Kang Dynasty, and Secret Wars were only like 6 months apart.
Yep. One was at the beginning of summer and one was like in the fall.
Yeah, that's a little weird.
They were going to film them back to back and then, have what they want to do is shorten the amount of time between them like we had the full year between Infinity War and Endgame. They wanted to shorten that time, it seems. What's interesting is that, so Blade's production is put on hold. The pre-production's been put on hold, I guess, until they get the script worked out and they find a new director, which, again, there's plenty of directors from them to choose from. I think that I think I don't think the director situation is going to be that big of a deal. I think they'll find someone very easily who will very handily deal with it. Blade.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah. So I don't think that's the problem. I think the fact that they
stoned.
They'll very handily find someone to stand for the Blade. If you don't understand what I'm saying, you're not alone. I don't even understand what I'm saying. So I think the situation that worries me a little bit more is more of the script itself. And the only thing that I would be slightly concerned about is depending on how the contract was signed. I would hate to see delays on production chase Mahershala Ali away from this role, because that dude is a peak casting choice for Blade at this point.
Yeah.
Also because his voice has already been heard as Blade at the end of Eternals. So that would be weird for him to have made an appearance as Blade and then back out of it. So maybe he can't. Maybe the contract is, and maybe he's like full on board with it too and doesn't want to. So hopefully that's the case. But that's what I would be worried about with Blade. The fact that the pre-production is put on hold on there and delays this movie does actually delay almost every single movie following it, because welcome to the joys of having a cinematic universe where you got to follow a timeline and everything's got to come out in its place.
Why is Blade the linchpin in this?
Because it's not that Blade is a linchpin, it's that Blade comes before these other movies. And so just to keep everything in line, in order, all pieces in their place, if Blade gets delayed, so does everything else.
They've done shuffles before, like Falcon and Winter Soldier was supposed to come out before WandaVision. It actually doesn't look like it really mattered in that case, unless they made changes that I'm not aware of.
They did, because I think there was some filming during pandemic time, so I think some of that was reshuffled and some things were reshot.
Yeah, but I don't know, like, were they reshot just to keep up with the story, and now that WandaVision was coming out before Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
There's also just keeping up with like release schedules and stuff too, and trying to hit your quota and your bottom line on the business side of things.
Yeah.
And making sure like we end the year with such and such amount of profit. We have to have this many movies come out. If we have to delay this and we have to shift some of these movies over to this year to make sure that year's got that profit. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting for sure.
Anyways, so Blade production being pushed back, I guess that makes sense. Deadpool, I'm guessing Deadpool actually does have a lot more to do with the MCU than we originally thought, and that's why it's getting delayed as well. Originally, we all were suspecting that he'll just play in the MCU playground, but he's not going to have any real connection to like any ongoing storylines. Apparently, that might not be true. He may actually have a bigger part in the MCU than we were led to believe.
I'm waiting for them to kind of sneak in and by the way, we're going to make Deadpool 3 PG-13. Just kidding. We weren't going to make it R. We're actually making it PG-13. It's part of the MCU. Deal with it. And they're just kind of going to slip that one in there, even though Feige has definitely said that it's going to be R. Waiting for that. I don't think it's going to happen because Feige doesn't really go back on his words other than the Inhumans becoming a TV show instead of a movie.
Oh, and that Captain America not being Serpent Society and it being Civil War.
Or Armor Wars not being a TV show but being a movie.
But
other than those three examples.
Or what's his face coming back to play Rhodey in the Iron Man movies. Or Edward Norton continuing to be...
He didn't promise those things.
No.
But
anyways, it's capable that they can backtrack a little, but and then the Secret Wars being pushed back. This one is, again, I didn't realize, I guess, that they were only 6 months apart. That would be worrisome for me, just because I understand what they're trying to do as far as setting up Kang and how big of a character and storyline everything with Kang is going to be. That's going to be a huge event when they finally come down to it. Secret Wars, if they're doing Secret Wars properly, Secret Wars would be the biggest, most dominating thing of the entire MCU. Like, y'all thought Infinity War, everything with the Infinity Gauntlet was big, and it was plenty big. Secret Wars is even bigger. Like, I would say even the comic book storylines, the Secret Wars storyline in the comics, and I'm thinking back to like the 80s Secret Wars, not this newer one, which I feel like this movie's probably going to deal more with like the newer Secret Wars than the older one, but still, those are huge events. Those are like timeline changing, multiverse changing events.
Yep.
It's going to reset the entire MCU.
I don't know about that yet.
I'm almost certain it will.
I don't know about that yet because I can easily see a world, and I've said this before, I can easily see a world where the MCU as it stands right now operates within a trilogy format. You've seen it already in Phase 1, 2, and 3, ending with Infinity War and Endgame. Phase 4, 5, and 6 will end with Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars. I can see there being a 7, 8, 9 that end with the implosion of the MCU as we know it. Take a small little break, reboot it all. That's the way I see it happening. I don't see Secret Wars yet being the thing that redoes all of the MCU. I see that happening in another 3 phases afterwards, because we still got to like give time for all of the stories and all of the movies to have their own little trilogies and stuff too. Everyone's got to have their third movie. X-Men have to be introduced. X-Men are going to operate and interact in this continuity still. So I think you got to give time for all of that to happen.
But the thing I was looking at is that 6-month timeline originally. It's not a big enough time frame to go from this giant battle with Kang to Secret Wars.
Depending on how the story goes.
You got to like immediately switch from not even how the story goes. You've got maybe one movie you could stick in between, and there's one movie that's supposed to carry what happened in Kang Dynasty to Secret Wars. No, there needs to be a lot more build up for what they're doing in Secret Wars. From the comic book lover and me knowing what they could potentially be doing with it, there's no way you're going to hop off of one and immediately go straight to the next one. Just, it's not going to make sense, and it's going to feel rushed. It's also going to be way too much of like big movie events happening in such a small period. We need to be spreading that out.
No, you, my friend, you choosing to question Feige here. You are choosing
I'm
to
not
question...
because they pushed back Secret Wars. They're doing what I would assume is the correct idea.
They're not pushing back Secret Wars though because it makes sense to push back Secret Wars. They're pushing it back because of the whole Blade situation.
Well,
everything's getting pushed back.
As far as we know,
everything after Blade is getting delayed and pushed back. Everything. So that is what we go off of right now. You are questioning Feige, and Feige right now is looking at you.
Whoa, take it easy, sweetheart.
But they are expanding the time between Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars. It's not like Kang Dynasty may be getting pushed back as well. They're not being pushed back in connection to each other. They are separating Secret Wars out a lot further.
But they're not adding anything between the two of them that isn't already scheduled to be there.
As far as
it's no different.
They could be announcing something though.
As of right now, everything that we've seen.
2026.
As of right now, everything that we have seen is structured the way it is structured.
That's 4 years out. I'm almost guaranteeing that they're going to announce another movie or two in between Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars.
And the fact that it's 4 years out means it's going to be perfectly okay.
Yeah.
Which is why I have no problem with them doing Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars back to back like this. And because I don't know the storyline they're planning on going with, Kang sets up something in the Kang Dynasty. Big battle with Kang. Something happens. Stuff is probably already being set up before that. Stuff is being set up during that leads right into Secret Wars. We don't know. Those movies haven't even been written yet. But the plan is there, and I trust it. Because I trust Feige's knowledge of how to handle these characters. So I think the setup will be there.
So I trust everything as well. It's just me as someone who knows like how these movies work. You don't do like your two giant movies back to back like that while leaving your middle tier movies that are like, I don't know, filler, meant to just like lightly progress the storyline type of thing. You don't leave those like all grouped together and put all your big ones here at the end.
Think of it.
I don't know if I'm describing this properly because I feel like this is a very easy to understand concept, and I don't feel
think about it. Think about it how we see Infinity War and Endgame as one movie. One movie split up into two. Now take that same concept and put it on Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars. We don't know the story, but right now they're one movie split into two.
But but here's the thing. They shouldn't be one movie. Those are two completely different storylines. And there was also at least one movie that was in between Infinity War and Endgame. So we had kind of like a small, like little filler, like Ant-Man and the Wasp wasn't this gigantic, huge event. It was a filler movie to kind of like, let's come back. Let's bring it back down a little bit before we jump back into Endgame.
Right.
That's what I'm talking about.
Ant-Man and the Wasp took place at the same time as Infinity War. And then
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when the movies came out. I'm not talking about the timeline.
Yes. Ant-Man and the Wasp itself happened at the same time as Infinity War. Captain Marvel, also between the two movies, happened in the past. So yes, we still do consider Infinity War and Endgame as one movie, just because other movies happened between them. The events of those movies took place before. Infinity War and Endgame work together as one movie, just like how I'm assuming Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars will work together.
What I'm talking about.
I understand what you're talking about. Yes, there is something currently.
I understand us to calm down from Infinity War.
There is something scheduled between them already. There is something on the schedule that is happening between them. That's already been there. That's still going to happen. Mm-hmm. It might be a TV show. It might be a movie. I don't know which, but either way.
There will be something to come back down from Kang Dynasty before we jump into Secret Wars.
Yes, that's already happening. That's already been in place. Either way, it's going to function and work almost exactly like Infinity War and Endgame. They were just planning on doing less time between the two movies, which I'm perfectly okay with because that wait between Infinity War and Endgame was nuts.
Super long.
Absolutely nuts. And I would definitely take a shorter wait time between those two event movies.
For that particular storyline, yes, because that was like the beginning and the end. You're absolutely right, of like one singular storyline. I don't believe the Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars are going to be one singular storyline like that. There's enough in there, given what they have to do with Kang and what they're going to do with Secret Wars. They're going to be two completely different. They're not going to be related, or if they are related, it's going to be very a light connection.
We don't know.
Something will happen in Kang Dynasty that doesn't actually really pertain to the story of Kang Dynasty that will move on to Secret Wars. That we don't know. Most, that's what we're going to have.
But this will be fun to revisit later.
Oh, yeah.
You're incorrect.
Oh, shut up.
When you realize that Kang is the one that sets up the Secret Wars and there is no Beyonder.
I mean, that's possible also.
It's plausible, huh? Plausible. Oh, it hasn't been written yet.
I don't know if I would necessarily see them do like this whole like epic battle against Kang just for him to turn around and come back and be running the Secret Wars also.
He's got a lot of variants.
Yeah. And we'll see. It's very possible that as we lead up to those, the other movies are going to start dropping like little bits and pieces of something that will kind of help guide it. So, I mean, we might even not even have to wait for those movies to come out. We will probably be able to call it early once we see like Black Panther or especially Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
And to that point, we haven't been introduced to Doctor Doom in the MCU yet.
And that one's a big one that a lot of people are saying that Doctor Doom's going to be a major focal villain.
It's not been confirmed, obviously, because they usually don't confirm post-credit scenes, but it is a highly touted rumor right now that we might see a Doctor Doom cameo potentially in a Wakanda Forever post-credit. That's
Which
both
would
a
be
rumor
great.
and something that I think makes a whole lot of sense given Wakanda Forever's placement at the end of Phase 4, and they need to use a post-credit there or something that happens in that movie to kind of generate hype and push forward into Phase 5.
What comic book was Black Panther's first appearance in again? It was a Fantastic Four, wasn't it? Oh yeah, it was.
Uh-oh.
So there's definitely already a tie between Black Panther and the Fantastic Four.
Uh-oh, connections. It's all connected.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see as movies progress. Like I said, I'm pretty sure we'll be able to more easily call the storyline of the entire cinematic universe as the movies progress, and especially after Quantumania. So
and then hopefully next week we're not talking about Marvel again. Probably
yeah. I love Marvel. I could talk about the MCU all day long. I would like to be able to talk about something else besides the MCU every week, though. Hi, welcome back to MCU Talk here on the Cinefanatics. Once again, we're trying to talk about, was it Sydney Sweeney playing Barbarella or the Oregano Trail game? But no, we got to talk about the MCU again. What
do those Infinity Stones mean?
What stuff does Namor keep in his green Speedo shorts that he has at the ready, like a Batman's utility belt? I don't know. Some weird stuff like that.
Good night, everybody.
Yep. Anyways, let's go ahead and wrap this up. That's going to do it for the show tonight. Again, keep in mind, Marquee is coming up this Friday. We are going to be covering 80s cult horror movies. It's going to be myself with Tori and Lego covering all these indie horror movies. If you've been wanting to get into indie 80s horror and you want some recommendations, this is going to be a good place to do it. It's going to be this Friday at 7:30 Pacific, 10:30 Eastern, right here live on this channel. Thank you, Sparkling Water.
Maintain professionalism.
I'm drawing. Anyways, that will be happening here this Friday. I know Halloween Ends is coming out this week. I will probably watch it, and we'll probably shoot a review for it because I want to stay on top of those, much like I did for Terrifier 2. So expect a Halloween Ends review of some sort on this channel within the coming days. And then I know we've got Black Adam comes out next week. We'll do a review for that as well. And then we've got the Marquee at the end of this month. That is the 28th, I believe, is where we got that at. Yes.
Yep.
On the 28th, we are tier ranking Stephen King movies, not TV movies or TV miniseries. So Langoliers, Tommy Knockers, The Stand, that won't be on there. It's only going to be theatrical movies, and it's going to be 18 most popular theatrical or Netflix movies, like Gerald's Game will be on there. So stay tuned for that. That's for the Marquee at the end of this month. If you want to know what movies are actually on that list, make sure you hop on Patreon, patreon.com/cinefanatics. Even at the $1 tier, if you're just paying $1 a month to support us, we definitely appreciate that. You will be given access to our Discord. On the Discord is the list of movies that we will be tier ranking for not only this coming Friday, but also for the Stephen King Marquee. And we will potentially be putting up the list of movies before the Marquees come out. So you can watch the movies. If you would like to get your own opinion out there and tier rank them yourself, you are free to do that. Hit up the Patreon and you'll be able to do that as well.
Easy.
Again, for Patreon, we are going to be doing a movie trivia hangout this coming Monday. I believe that's what day did we say that was? The 17th? Yeah, 17th. The 17th. So that will be this coming Monday, the 17th at 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern. The following Monday will be the movie watch along. As of right now, we're trying to figure out some non-gory, easy to watch horror movies. Very likely right now, I think we're leaning more towards The Shining, but we'll see if there's anything else. If not, we're doing at least we're going to do The Shining on 24th. So that will be fun. It'll be my brother's first time watching that. So that will be the 24th, same time as well, 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern. And yeah, that's all we've got coming up so far. So Yeah, make sure you follow us at CineFanaticsMLP on Twitter and Instagram. Make sure you hit like on this video. Subscribe if you haven't done that already. If you're watching this on a replay, comment below. How much would you like to see me and my brother bicker about news topics during a live stream? We would like to know your feelings and opinions on that because we could do that again. Absolutely.
Why would you say that? Nobody wants to see that.
It's very possible that we could do that again. So
no, I don't want to.
I do want to do that again. That was actually pretty entertaining.
Screw you. It's not going to happen.
Look, Chris, I understand. It is. Anyways, come back, watch us talk about movie stuff. Don't make me get the pillow. I'll get the Nicolas Cage pillow again. I don't know where it's at, actually.
Got my mug.
But whatever. Make sure you follow us. You can follow me, Robert Adams MLP, on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. Also, check out my YouTube channel. The link is in the description because it doesn't have a nice, handy, easy to say name. It's just a combination of letters like blah, 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 blah. So click on that down below and subscribe and follow me there whenever I do live streams over there. Chris, as for you,
you can follow me at Chris Adams MLP on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd, as well as twitch.tv/Chris Adams MLP, where we're streaming, having a lot of fun over on Twitch. Got a bunch of fun stuff in the works over there, so you definitely want to follow me and hang out. Don't miss a stream. It's a nice, chill, relaxed place. Everybody's friends. Everybody likes to hang out. Finger guns. Yeah. Cage mug. I didn't put that up while you were advertising your stream.
I just don't know where the finger guns came from. Anyways.
Came from my brain in 0.2 seconds while I was in the middle of talking.
Well, sounds like a good time to end this stream then. Thank y'all for watching tonight. Thank y'all for being here live. We very much appreciate each and every one of y'all being here. We hope to see you again for the marquee on Friday and for the tagline next week. Otherwise, y'all all have a great evening. We will see you later. Goodbye.
Bye-bye now.